Just in case we haven't met this year, happy New Year. God is good. We are in 2022. Can you believe this? To God be all the glory. So I am Alma Duncan, founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. I love to support individuals and their growth through coaching, consulting, training, mentoring. And this Mind Your Business is a weekly video podcast. Here I get to talk about business and the different ways that we can create wealth and impact people. Speaking of creating wealth, today's guest is all about creating wealth. I just came up with this name for him, Dr. Wealth. I don't even know why, but I just felt led to call him that. And he is the first gentleman I get to interview on Mind Your Business. So let me read his bio. He's called Dr. Evans Duah or Evans Duah. I don't know which one sounds nice. Okay, so Dr. Evans Duah is a French and English trained business expert. He worked in France and Morocco and currently works in Ghana. He started his career in business management consultancy and continued as an award-winning professional banker with business and retail banking experience in international business, credit management, project management, and corporate social responsibility by the Banque Société Générale. I hope I did a good job of that. Before he moved to academia and consultancy, he is currently a lecturer at the newly mandated public university, AAMUSTED, in strategic management, entrepreneurship, and finance for first and second degree programs with the management department. He is the CEO and chief consultant, actually, of Xtart Business. He consults and plays major roles in many business startups, mergers and acquisitions, fundraising, partnership, and collaboration. Feasibility studies for international companies intending to establish subsidiaries in Ghana or West Africa. That's a mouthful. His passion for Africa, especially the youth, inspires him to engage in a number of volunteering works. He runs the Duah Mentoring Club 100 program, where yearly he mentors about 100 young people who are between the ages of 18 and 40 years in business. He also served as a keynote speaker and panelist at different business events for British Council, SMB, Ashoka Africa, AAMUSTED, KNUST, Imani Africa, ASLEM, among others in Ghana, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa, and China. Oh my goodness. My friend, Dr. Wealth, he's amazing. And he's recently launched a book on wealth. See what I mean by Dr. Wealth? So please sit tight, grab a cuppa or a glasser, and let's enjoy this conversation with Dr. Duah. Actually, grab a pen and a notepad. This will be good. I really can't believe that today I finally have the opportunity. First of all, let me say that you are the first man. Well, you will be the last, but the first man to be interviewed on Mind Your Business.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. I'm highly honored. Thank you so much.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then also, so let's congratulate you on your new book as well. We'll get to talk about it. But I mean, I love it when I see Africans, especially Ghanaians, write books and share our own knowledge so that we can have practical things right here on the continent to apply. Yeah, so I'm really excited for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So let's start. I mean, I call you Dr. Wealth because every time I've heard you speak, it was something about wealth. But then how did you end up coming into this space where you're talking about wealth? Have you always been wealthy as a child? Is this how it started for you?
No, not at all. So actually, I think our story is actually what, in a way, drives us. All that we've been through has formed this character, attitude, and passion all around us. So I always told most people around me that this is my life story. I had the chance to be up there, and I've had the chance to be low there. And in these two scenarios, I learned wisdom. So if I had stayed up there, I would have had a different perspective of life. But I saw daddy being worldly, and he got sick along the line. And unfortunately, he didn't do a lot of wealth planning. So then there is not so much other options if he is not there. So if daddy doesn't go, nothing is coming in. And because he didn't put in a lot of mechanisms and systems in place, people were stealing from him, his receivables were having issues for recovery and all that. So finally, he had no option that after some years, one of my brothers had to step in and all that. So I got the chance to experience wealth, and I got the chance to experience the other side of the story. And then I told myself, these two sides, I want one than the other.
Of
so
course.
now let me see how best I can stay on this side of the coin without moving to the other side. So basically, that's been my story. So I've seen both sides of the coin. And I'll be honest with you, the harshness of poverty, I always tell people, is evidenced all around us. We see it. Dreams that people have that they are unable to do. I'm so sure that a lot of Africans think and they say that because of lack of our capital, we're unable to do what we want to do. Because of lack of money, I'm unable to achieve my dreams. It is all true. Because at the end of the day, money becomes a vehicle to help us to fulfill our dreams. So I realized that then we need to learn more about how to earn money. We need to learn more about how to channel inflows to us. How rich can we be so that our dreams and ambitions will be able to fuel them and get where we want to be. So basically, that's a bit of a story behind it.
I just love everything you just said, and the final part where you're talking about, we need to learn how to make money so that we can fuel our dreams. I'm like, that's me. You are literally talking to me. I am sitting on a beautiful dream for next year and I'm strategizing. How am I going to get the money for it? So I totally get you. Now, the women within our network, the Fabulous Women Network, the majority of us are women in business. We also have some of us, we are corporate women, but also running our own businesses. Based on the experiences you've shared, having had a lot of money at one point and lost a lot, I mean, not yours, but your parents. And then that experience, what can you share with us, especially the women, because the majority of us are women. Well, they are men too. What can you share as some of the key lessons, key things we should focus on when learning how to create money or create wealth, and then of course applying it?
So I have this policy. You have two options here. You can decide to take 25 years to learn the hard way, or you can decide to learn it in 25 minutes. 25 minutes because you can sit watching a program like this by Duncan, and it will save you a whole lot of problems that you would have gone through yourself. So first and foremost, I tell people, whatever problem you are going through or you may go through, somebody has gone through it before. So I keep telling people, first and foremost, you should be somebody who reads wide and specifically in your areas of interest. People can inform you, but there is nothing like information that is appropriated or customized to you. I always tell people, maybe because I'm a Christian, you can go to church and the pastor can preach all that he can. If you don't do your quiet time, if you don't read the Bible yourself, if you don't search for it, you only know the God of the pastor. So what happens is that you actually just know what Amadankan is telling you. You actually just know what Kiyosaki is telling you. But what I'm just trying to say is that the first thing is that you need to read things for yourself, understand things for yourself. So that's the first lesson. The second most important lesson is this. I always tell people that if we can see further today, then it's because we stand on the shoulders of some giants. And this is Albert Einstein. So the fact of the matter is that nobody rises or do well in business without an accountable person on the side. So it's either people call it mentorship, people call it board of advisors, People will call it experts, consultants. We don't want to pay for consultants in our part of our world. We don't want to pay for advisors in our part of our world. So we make people like Kama Duncan's job so difficult when she could save you from tons and tons of problems. So the second thing is that we need to learn as much as possible to know that wherever we are going, there are some people who have been there before. There are some people with better expertise, people with a lot of experiences. They've made those mistakes, and then we should listen to them. So first, I start from you, what you should do. Then I fall on the second one, you fall in on other people. But one thing I have always told people, and it's very clear, if you don't know where you are going, then any place is a destination.
Yes.
So, for example, if I'm heading from Kumasi to Accra, and I don't know that Accra is in the south, and I'm going to the north, I'll end up at Wali Wali. And when I get to Wali Wali, I think I've arrived because I don't know what Accra looks like or where Accra is. So a lot of people are doing too many things, but they have no goals. They have no objectives. They have no clear vision. They don't even know what they are looking for. And sometimes you may know that you are looking for gold, but you may not have developed the expertise to recognize gold when you see gold. So somebody can give you a rock of gold, which is not refined, and you would end up throwing it away because it's not shining. So that is a real problem with so many people. Opportunities come to them, but they have not learned to actually recognize opportunities. It comes in the form of a rock. It comes in the form of a conversation like this. And then we end up throwing these rocks away because we don't know how good looks like. So the third most important thing is that we need to define exactly what we want and how we are getting there. If you don't define it, then any place is a destination. And if you don't know how you are getting there, sometimes something that will take you 5 years, you spend 20 years for it. Because whilst you are walking, somebody is sitting in a car, another in a train, another in a plane, and you're heading to the same place. So if you determine what you're looking for and the how, it is always the best. Now, I will end with one most powerful thing that has stuck with me for a very long time. If any man does not know why, or sorry to say, woman does not know why they do what they do, then I can tell you the little bumps on the road will throw them off balance. Amma, you can be very honest with me. Your journey has not been easy. It's been glorious. It's been fulfilling. But there have been times that you were down, broken, times that you wept, times that you felt like, am I doing the right thing? Is this I should. But then the good testimonies you've had, the good outcomes you've had, even some awards, recognitions would keep you going. If your why you are doing what you're doing is not strong enough, I can be very honest with you. At the least blow, you turn back and go to your comfort zone. So before I even go into the technical ones, I want to set the foundation. End with it that your why should be so strong. And I'll end up with this particular thing, which is in my book, by the way. So those who get the chance, I talk about the 4 pathways to wealth. So the first pathway is that there are those we call dreamers, people who are innovative, people like Duncan. So people who decide that we want to be entrepreneurs, people who decide that want to be musicians, want to be artists, want to be influencers, want to be celebrities, they choose that option. It is not actually a linear option where I go to work 8, I close at 5, I'm paid at the month. Sometimes they don't even know how much they are getting money at the end of the month or even at the end of the year. They can have a bumper harvest and they can also have a very lean season. But these are the people who are actually having a fast lane to wealth and a fast lane to the things that they are doing. So if you're a lady listening to me today and you've chosen the path of an entrepreneur, you are a dreamer. You've chosen the path of a musician, an artist, an actor, actress. You are on the path of a dreamer. It would not be easy, but I can assure you, like I told you earlier, if your why is so strong, then at the end, your bank account will reflect that dream that you have. There is a second group of people, I call them the corporate climbers. And with these corporate climbers, for a while now, I've been saying this thing. This thing sometimes is very wrong. People are giving us the impression that all of us would have to quit our job. People are telling us that if you don't become an entrepreneur, you can never be rich. I beg to strongly differ. Some of us would have to remain in that 8 to 5 job. Because when Amma Duncan is doing what she's doing, the last time I saw Amma at Anglo Gold, if there is nobody working for Anglo Gold, how would Amma Duncan go there?
Right.
If everybody, yes, so eventually some of us have to be the CEOs at Anglo Gold. Yes. Others would have to become the presidents, the finance ministers. We all have to fit into various roles. So some of you may not have to necessarily move into the path of the dreamer, but you can rise and become a powerful justice and what do we call it? Attorney. You can become a very strong whatever. So in that career, you can rise to the topmost level and you can be very worthy. Today, the CEO of Alphabet, the CEO of Google, or the CEO of Microsoft, or the CEO of Apple, all of these guys, you can't compare your salary or what Amma Duncan is earning as an entrepreneur to them. There are some CEOs today, the governor of Bank of Ghana's salary is almost, if I'm not wrong, about almost more than 4 times more than that of the president of Ghana. Yes. The governor
of Bank of Ghana.
If you check Cocoa Board, the CEO is taken, I think, 2 or 3 times and so on. So you don't have to necessarily become an entrepreneur. So some of you may love the job you do. You can stay there too. And then there are some people who decide to be what we call the saver investor, middle class people. You find yourself in that area. There is nothing wrong with it. The top is like a pyramid.
Exactly.
We are 10 at the bottom, 5 middle, just 1 or 2 at the top. So not all of us will get to the top. But in my book, I try to tell every single person, even those at the bottom, who can have that comfort. And that is what the West have done, where having accommodation, access to internet, education, health, and everything is accessible to almost everybody, irrespective of their wealth. So in their part of the world, we talk about relative poverty than what we see in our part of our world. So the last part of it is what we call the connoisseurs, or this word, I hardly want to use it, but let me use experts so that it will be easier. But connoisseurs or virtuosos. So the connoisseurs, virtuosos, or experts are people who become like the topmost surgeon. When anybody has a surgery, we know this guy, lawyer, the topmost accountant, an expert. So you can also become that. So first and foremost, anybody listening to me, not maybe all of you women are entrepreneurs. So at least you now know that you can still become or do well remaining in your corporate job. You can still do well if you don't rise to top executive. There's still a way around it. You can also, so all these options are available for all of us. So that is how I put it. Then with the next question, I explain into details how we go about it.
Oh, actually, you've given us enough gems. Seriously, you've given us so much gems. And I also want people to buy the book actually so that they get more. So don't release everything. But I really love all the points, like read for yourself. I mean, I am always advocating for reading. And I love the additional bits where you say, read for yourself, understand it for yourself, to make it applicable to you, not just, he said, and then I really love the analogy you use. I love the fact that we should have someone who is holding us accountable and then define what you want and how to get it. I love it, love it, love it. And then why? Just maybe 2 hours ago, I was sitting here thinking, so this thing I want to do next year, who has asked me? I think I asked that question how many times in a day? I'm like, who has asked me? Imagine if my why is not strong. I'm like, forget it. I will just. So it is so true. And I love the different pathways. It's true. A lot of us think that, or sometimes maybe I may even come across as someone who makes it look like, oh, if you are in full time, then it's wrong. I don't know. Maybe, perhaps I may have. But really, it's important that we know that actually some people need to be in full time.
Yeah.
Others, and then, some people need to rise. I want my husband to be a CEO sometime, I want that too. So I definitely think that there are different pathways. And, God has a path for each and every person. So definitely love that. Thank you so much. Now, speaking about your book, tell us a little bit more about the book and the gems you've already released. Even the tip of the iceberg is making me some way. So I'm imagining having the entire book in my hand. Tell us more about the book.
So the book, I'll put it in 6 ways, basically. So the first part of the book, I actually try to acknowledge the fact that every single one of us, we have what we call the money story or the manuscript. We all, when we were growing up, have already formed in a subtle manner our own perceptions about money, about wealth. So there are some people where when you go to daddy or you go to mommy about fees or about toys or about Christmas, their attitude towards it affects you. When mommy and daddy are arguing on money, it affects you. So you might have gone into a childhood where some bad guys did so many bad things, getting money, and then you are being preached to that money is evil and all sort of things. So we all have different perceptions, different mindsets coming. So the book acknowledges and assumes that we all have a certain perception about money and about wealth that we are using in our way to get to where we want to. So that one is our intentional wealth 1.0. So the book is called Intentional Wealth 2.0 because you already have your own version. And now we are presenting our version to you. I use we often with my book because I feel my book, I own it to everybody who's contributed to the final outcome that I have. So all the people that have formed my character, my knowledge, my perception, and even all those who contributed to the book. So the first most important thing that I do in the book is that I try to differentiate between what money is and what currency is. When people don't differentiate these two, they get a lot of problems. So money has so many functions. And money in itself is supposed to do a lot of things. And I'll break them into very simple ones. One of them is that money is a medium of exchange. So at the end of the day, somebody has bread, you have water. In the past, you'd have to exchange. You need water, somebody needs bread. You have to find someone. Yes. But now with money, if you have water and I have money, I could purchase it. Yeah. But the main thing that money differs from currency is that money is a store of value. Currency is not a store of value. And this is how I explain. Up until 1971, all the currencies in the world were backed by gold reserves. So what it means is that before the United States of America can print any dollar, they needed to have the equivalent of that dollar value in gold reserve. In other words, they couldn't print out of thin air into the system. Now, they realize that, no, why do we have to do that? When that gold, so anybody who has watched Money Heist the last season, they ended up the season. So this one, for those who are yet to watch it, sorry, I'm breaking it. So sorry for spoiler alert, sorry. So at the end of the day, they ended up putting a fake gold reserve in there because the gold reserve, which is there, is never touched, it's never used. So if I put a fake one there and I tell you that is a gold reserve backing the euro or the dollar, you are good as long as you see it with your eyes. So they realized that, why are we doing this? So in 1971, we came up with an economic term called quantitative easing, which simply means that whenever we think we need more money, we just push it into the system. So I'm so sure a lot of you will be asking now, but if that's the case, why don't governments just keep printing money and they go out to borrow? If you keep printing without corresponding values all the time, then eventually there'll be more money chasing less products, and that is where inflation comes in. So now this first principle I want to teach is that currency devalues over time. In other words, if you have 100,000 Ghana cedis today, and that 100,000 Ghana cedis could buy you, let's assume 25, or let's even just use 100 cedis to make it simple. So 100 cedis for a bag of cement in year 2019 could buy you 4 bags of cement. In year 2021, it can buy you 2. The same 100 Ghana cedis, 2. The same 100 Ghana cedis. What happened? What has happened is that the value of that money has gone down. But if you keep that 100 Ghana cedis, okay, into something, so let me go back to the 100,000 so that mathematics-wise becomes easier. You bought a land with 100,000 in 2018. By 2021, 2022, that we are in now, then that 100,000 land will be worth more than 100,000. I'll give an example. I bought some lands at 30,000 Ghana cedis in 2017. In 2021, a brother actually bought one of that land for me at actually a reduced amount of 150,000.
What?
At 150,000, because the market value is now 250,000.
For real?
250,000, but I bought it at 30,000. So if you understand the concept of money, then you should know where your money's value will be kept. So some people think that, oh, the money has appreciated, the land has appreciated. Yes, it is true. The value of the land has appreciated. But the land is one of the assets that keeps the intrinsic value of money. Keeping your money under your pillow does not keep the intrinsic value. So the interest that the banks are giving me, I'm an ex-former banker, that the banks are giving us are not monies to make you rich. So we put the monies at the bank not to make us rich, because we are saving them to get an interest. Those interests are a bit in line with the inflation values. So just keeping your money at that value it should be. So though your money has gone from 100,000 to maybe 120,000, the purchasing power of the 120,000 is the same as that of the 100,000. So first and foremost, you should know that your money can never stop working. The moment your money stops working, which is your currency, which is sitting in your account, then automatically you are losing money. So money should never stop working. Number 2, people should understand that money starts as a concept of flow before the concept of stock. In other words, the first most important for any business person, those who are entrepreneurs, so now I'm moving a bit technical. I like using the hill approach. We are climbing, but you don't feel it. So I'm getting technical without you feeling it. So the flow comes in like this. If you start the stock from the beginning, then it stops. Then you can't take in more. What you have to do is, at the beginning, you need to be a channel. Always let money flow. So this is what you have to do. Your money should come in and your money should leave. So it should leave in lesser amounts, come in bigger amounts. Lesser amounts, bigger amounts. If it's the opposite, then you are losing. So what actually happens is that you should not be bothered about your outflows, your spending. Your focus is your spending bringing that recycle back? Is it bringing it back to you? So if I put money today in buying a car, there's nothing wrong with it. However, if that car is not earning me anything, then it means that the outflow is going without a return. So that's what I'm saying at the beginning. Don't stop the flow. Focus on anything that will bring a return. So we call this return on investment. Anything that you are doing, you need to ask yourself, what is the return on each CD leaving my pockets? So you are going to have this thing that I'll quote Kiyosaki, because this came first from him. I don't have this in my book, but this came first from him and I'm quoting it. He said this particular thing. He says, whenever you spend, make sure that you spend in assets rather than in liabilities. Now, he makes the assets not 100% accounting definition, but he wants to just define assets in his book that anything that does not take money from me, but rather brings money from me, and liability as anything that takes money from me. So at the beginning, where you are now building your life, make sure you have investments in what we call income generating assets. So money you buy a car, preferably buy a car that will cost you less in fuel, less in whatever, and buy a car for Uber or Bolt or whatever, which will bring you money. Invest into something that will bring you money. That's what you do. Now, once you understand the flow concept and you are doing it, then you come into the stock concept. So that is the reason why sometimes I still encourage people to save. You can never do anything big if you don't learn how to save. Actually, saving is the most important principle in wealth creation. Anybody who does not have a system where you can hold money, every money leaves you, is also very dangerous. So this is what I advise people to do. For those of you who are whether corporate climber or entrepreneur or intrapreneur, whatever you are, first and foremost, make sure that any money that comes into your life, as salary, as revenue, as whatever, make sure you learn not to spend everything. So if you are a salaried worker, let me start with salaried worker, then move to entrepreneurs. You should learn as much as possible to spend below 60% of how much you are earning. Because if you cannot afford to buy something twice, then actually you can't afford it. And I have that principle. If I can't afford it twice, then it means I truly can't afford it, which means that at this moment, it is a luxury to me. So learn to live within your means. And living within your means simply means live within what you are earning. Otherwise, you can never, ever make it to the top. So that is on that side. Now, that first component, I don't want to tell you everything like I must say. So I use that for the money and the currency. Then the book divides itself. It's called the Pentagon Wealth Model. So there are 5 cardinal points. So the first one is about wealth creation. In the book, I try to break it down, the concept of creating wealth. And in that concept, I start with the MIPS wealth definition model, where I've already talked about it. You have to define exactly what kind of wealth you are looking for. So I remember Jay Collins shared a very powerful story. The story he shared was this. There was a monk and there was a minister. Now, this monk and minister were childhood friends. They grew up in the same neighborhood. So one definitely became the monk, one became the minister. They met after many years. And when they met, the minister came with an entourage, came with a lot of wardrobes, has this whole money and everything, looking chubby and good looking. The monk looking slim, dejected, actually wearing no sandals and everything. So the minister told the monk, if you had learned to cater to the king, you wouldn't have to live only by rice and beans like you're doing now. Then the monk told the minister, if you had learned to live only by rice and beans, you wouldn't also be catering to someone now. In other words, these two people were successful in their own eyes. Sadly. So you need to define what is wealth to you. What does it mean to you? To some people, it's materialistic. There is nothing wrong. I have one rich man in Kumasi. He's so rich. He buys car every month or two, he changes his car. Now he's using Maybach, and I saw it on his DP. That is what he wants. Like they say. So he suffered for it. That is it. Then there's the independence part. So to some people, wealth is all about having that freedom, like Amma Duncan, where she chooses her own schedules and everything. That part means everything to them. So if you give them all the money and they are still not independent to pursue their dreams, you've still not done anything for them. Some people is also psychological. It's the peace of mind. They don't mind going to stay on an island as long as they have that mental health, that peace of mind. To some people, it's spiritual. Some people, it's social. So if you pick, I like using this example of this drug lord in Colombia. I don't like mentioning his name because I don't want to glorify him. But he got a lot of money, stashed this money in grounds and everything. Yet he wanted to be the president of Colombia. So all the money in the world, all the power, he wanted the title president of Colombia. So sometimes some people, if you don't know, you will still have a lot of frustrations in your life. Because for him, his is social. So such a person, right from the beginning, he should have followed on a political ambition, followed on becoming a big person in society, because that is where his real fulfillment is. Now, the next stage of this world creation is where I give the equation that we can all apply. First factor in the equation is time, where I talk about time as the most valuable asset. A lot of people don't know this thing, but time lost, you can never replenish it. 2021, we are not seeing it. 2019, 18, no matter what. Amma Duncan is not the same Amma Duncan 10 years ago. We will age, our face will change, our skin will change, our beauty. Things will all change. So we need to know that time is the most powerful and the most valuable asset that we have. The next component in the wealth equation that I always tell people, which people ignore, is that money does not flow towards time and work. It flows more towards value and service. It is the reason why the contractor gets all the money when the mason does all the job. So it's not about the time. It's not just about the work, but it's about who ultimately is providing the value or the service. So we need to understand that for you to create wealth, you need to always ask yourself, what is the value I'm adding, or what is the value that I'm creating? If you are not doing any of these things, it will take you long. That is the reason why the corporate climbers, they rise, because they become so invaluable and sometimes priceless. I remember when I was leaving, and I can share this openly, when I was leaving the bank into academia, it took me a while with HR and everything. The bank never wanted me to leave because I was a valuable asset to them. But I told them this is about a question of passion and things. I'm not moving. I've been in Ghana for all these years. I've not moved from this bank to another bank. I've had office. I'm not moving to any other bank. It is just about my passion, and I'm moving to academia. So you become so valuable to them. They are willing to increase your salary. They are willing to promote you. So it's all about value. The next one is leverage. I always tell people the one with value and no leverage will take more time to get there. It is the reason why two shops are the same place. One is selling more. The other one is highly networked. The other one is people. People know that person. Beyond the customer service and the value, you need to ride on leverage. What is leverage? Leverage is a very simple thing. Imagine I'm moving a big stone with all my effort, pushing, it's not moving. Then I pick a wood, which we call lever in engineering. I place it under it. Apply the same strength I was using initially. This time on that side of the wood, it will move that rock. The reason it moved is not because I applied extra strength. No, it only moved because I changed the rules of engagement and the mechanism to move it. So there are sometimes your own strength will fail you. Your own money will not take you there. And that is where I come in with this concept. It's not in my book though, but it's one of my key principles called relational thinking. If you want to go very, very far, then learning to ride on other people's network, other people's money, other people's marketing and stuff would help you. However, leveraging does not mean you are using and abusing people. Otherwise, it becomes as if you're exploiting people. The fourth component, the fifth one, I'll leave it out so that people go and read it.
That's all.
So, yes, the fourth component is also one that I talk about. It's called wealth velocity or money velocity. A lot of people don't know that the principle of turnover, what we call sales turnover. So I like sales turnover in accounting because whenever you tell me revenue, it bulks everything that is coming. Sales turnover simply means I have 100,000, but week one, I bought things and I sold all the 100,000 and I bought again. I sold it. So in a month, I went 4 times. So I made a sales turnover of 400,000. but the money itself was 100,000. So my ability to turn around that money. So if you have 100,000 and you are making, so let me ask this question. I'm at this one, sorry to quiz you, but
let me get my notepad and pen.
So imagine that I tell you that with your 100,000, I give you 15%. And then I tell you that with your 100,000, I give you 10%. Which one would you go for?
Wait, the 100, I get 15.
So you have 100,000 and you come to me that, okay, Dr. Wolf, please, I want you to invest this for me. And I said, okay, I can give you 10%. Then the other I can give you 15%. Which one would you go for?
So obviously I would go for the 15%. Oh?
Yes.
One is 100. One is 100,000 and the other one is what, 400?
No, it's the same 100,000.
Oh, yeah,
so
I'll definitely go for the higher one. This one, I don't need any calculation.
So the higher one is good. But where the trick is that I never told you if the 15% is monthly or is yearly. I didn't tell you per annum. So if the 15% is per annum, then it means that 100,000 give me only 15,000 at the end of the year. But if the 10% is monthly, then it means I'm getting 10,000 every month for 1 year, which means I get 150,000. So then the 10% is better than the 15% because of the turnover. Because one turns once in a year. We get only 15% once a year. The 10% is turning around 12 times in a year. So that is what wealth velocity or money velocity is about. People need to know that some businesses helps you to turn around more. So I advise people in businesses who are doing a single business, especially the people who are starting very early. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do. So for example, my first business I did is a business that should give me turnover. The real business I want to do will give me money once a year. That is the real business I want to do. But I've shelved it because that one would not give me wealth faster in terms of acceleration like I want. But this one, which is not the one I really want to do, would turn the money around faster for me. I'll make more money, and then I can use the returns from this in order to do that one. So normally, understand these principles and know how to accelerate your money. So I say this, and as people say, okay, but have you experienced it yourself? Yes. I tell people you shouldn't talk about money when you yourself you've not lost money, not gain. I always tell people gaining, it is so easy to win. When you learn how to bounce back from a loss, I respect you a lot. One of my principles I have, anybody I'm recruiting or I'm engaging, I want to see how you failed. So people don't know this. Anything related to the United States, I've come almost across it. They always want to ask you, have you failed before? Have you fallen? Have you faced any challenge and how did you come? Because when a person has failed before, they have learned a better way of doing things than someone who succeeded. Because if I succeed, it means A works, I'm doing A throughout. But the day A stops working and I start failing with A, then I'll try B. If B fails, I'll try C. So failure in itself is not a bad thing. Challenges in itself is not actually a bad thing, but it helps us to do better. So there are 4 more Pentagons, but I'll leave it here.
I mean, you've already dropped a lot of gems, even for those who may say, oh, at this time, I can't afford the book. There's so much that they can actually run with, even based on this lecture. And you are truly a lecturer anyway. So I just allowed you and I'm like, let him flow so I enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much. I know I've taken a lot of your time and I can't let you go without asking you a few questions. But first of all, how do we get access to your book for those of us who are outside Ghana and then those in Ghana?
Yes, so those who are outside is on Amazon. So when you go to Amazon, just look for Intentional World 2.0, build on the Pentagon World Model. You can also check it on my website, which is www.evansduah.com. And then you can also order from there. For those of you who are in Ghana, we have distributors in every region, and we also have it in the various bookshops. So I would always prefer you can go straight to my website and we'll direct you to exactly the closest place that you can get the book from.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And I'm on social media and all that, so that's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, so speaking of social media, how do we reach you on social media?
Okay, so I prefer using my social media name, which is the Duah. So my personal account is Evans Duah, but the Duah is my public page. And that is where I put a lot of these discussions there. Yeah. So my personal one is just for me talking about my football and things there. So,
so which club are you? I mean, I don't even know the clubs, but I'm sure hopefully I know the name of your favorite club.
Yeah, so Manchester United. Everybody around me knows that I'm a United fan.
I see. Anyway, so before I let you go, I have 3 short questions or sentences, and you have to just finish off the sentence from whatever comes to mind. So the first one is, if I could advise my younger self in 1 short sentence, I would say,
how to be yourself.
Okay, I like that. I am fabulous because
I don't give up.
And then finally, 1 book that has greatly helped me in business is?
That's a difficult one.
Because there are so many?
There's so many.
I know.
And they're all, but I think would I say the richest man in Babylon?
I love that book. I have it on the shelf.
I think, yes, I'll go for that one. But Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad also gave me a huge paradigm shift. It's a difficult one for me. It's a difficult one.
I totally get you. Kiyosaki's book
hooked
me up with a bang. And then Richest Man in Babylon and all were also very helpful. And these are, they're not even expensive. Kiyosaki's book is like 25 CDs or something.
Yeah, because they've earned most of their money out of it.
Exactly. And yet there's...
Mine is expensive though. Mine is way more expensive.
And we have to pay for it. With all these gems you are dropping, definitely we have to pay for it.
I priced it as a premium one because you have to read it when you pay that top dollar for it.
Exactly. So you put your skin in the game, and then I totally believe that. Plus, you have such great value, so we should definitely pay for it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh my goodness, Dr. Well.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm honored to be the first man on your show.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. And we should come back again. This time, maybe we'll talk about spirituality and wealth or something, because I know that you're also a very spiritual person. So definitely.
And that one, I'll be allowed to quote scriptures, right?
Absolutely, please. Okay, I'll bring my Bible.
I always want to, when it comes to spirituality, I always want to use the Bible as the reason why, the main foundation for what I say.
Of course. All right. Thank you so much. My regards to your beautiful wife and children. God bless everything you're doing. And thank you.
My boys are just standing at the door waiting to come in.
For you all. Let me release you. Thank you so much. Well. Did he drop some gems or what? My goodness. I am just so grateful that we had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Evans Duah. I call him Dr. Wealth. He's really dropped a lot of gems, and I hope we have picked some things. Some of these things he's talking about, all we need to do is practice, reading for yourself, having someone to hold accountable, and defining wealth for yourself and all. We just need to practice them. Take maybe one thing. So please, my question to you is there anything that we've heard today from this interview that you think, I have not been practicing it? Maybe you know it already, but you've not been applying it, and that I'm going to. Please drop that in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Or you can also email us hello@amadankan.com. Go check out the link that I have provided also to Dr. Duah's website, so you can also find the book and read. So this book is made right here in Africa. This is talking about wealth creation right here. So yeah, it's good to read the books from elsewhere, but this one is like here, right? So not only are we supporting our own, we're also learning what is practical here. So yes, before I let you go, let me just remind you that in this month that we are in, I've cleared a bit of my schedule to do coaching calls. So if you feel that you are stuck somewhere or you are dealing with something and you need someone, a coach to unpack it, I am here to help you. Check out in the caption, you'll see the link to book a discovery call with me for 30 minutes. You and I on Zoom with our kappa. We'll have this conversation. Also, so this year in March, we are having the International Fabulous Women's Conference. If you haven't heard already, then look out for details. You can also subscribe to our Telegram info channel, link in the caption, so that whatever information we are sending out, you'll get that fast. Okay? Until I come your way again next Tuesday at 12 noon GMT.